Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a brand new season of TGP2. It's season 31, and we are ready for the first round of this season here in Imola. We've got Austria coming up a little bit later on after this, but first of all, they're going to tackle this fantastic, iconic circuit here in Italy. And well, once again, all the points are set back to 0, and it's time to go again. We had a brilliant battle last season between Babo and Wet Lemons for the championship. Neither of them are with us this season, and it is all wide open once again. As always in TGP2, we don't really get a clear idea of who's going to be fighting for the title until probably a few races in, really. Such is the unpredictability of this championship. As we have a few minutes left to go in this qualifying session around Imola, and alongside me in the commentary box is Roy once again. Hello, Roy.
Good evening, Daniel. Yeah, it's a new season, as you said, season 31. I'm quite looking forward to this one because, you know, as always in TGP2, you never really know who's going to win the title. And of course, we have Dom back in the championship, who lost the title last time he competed by 0 points. He lost it on countback, and didn't get a single pole position win or fastest lap on his way to losing on countback. But currently running in 5th, so kind of in the same kind of placement he was in that season. So let's see how he develops, because consistency is definitely his strong point, as Parsa has just invalidated his lap. Parsa, of course, alongside Cena at AlphaTauri, so I think AlphaTauri will be the fan favourite team, but P8 for him, and Cena hasn't set a representative lap yet.
Well, certainly when AlphaTauri with Cena is about to set a lap now, he goes up to 5th place on a 1:16.2, but certainly when these guys were teammates in the early days in TGP, they used to, no matter what the track was, even if it was Monaco during qualifying, they would try and give each other a toe at some point. So haven't seen that strategy deployed yet between them, although as I say that, they are coming quite close on track now to each other. Parsa is catching up to Cena, so maybe they might try something at the end of this lap. But anyway, they are in the AlphaTauris at the minute. We've got Jacko on pole in the Ferrari, and he's alongside Cannon, but only for tonight, because Bazet will be the usual driver in that Ferrari. Cannon is just a stand-in. We've also got Paul McGuinness as well, who's here tonight, who is also a stand-in, but he is in the Alfa Romeo.
Yes, he's standing in for the other Alfa Romeo driver, but he's currently standing in the garage because
here we go.
He crashed.
Oh, nearly hit him there. Did you see? I don't know if you caught that, but I thought he was going to give him a toe there. Seeing it on Parsa, and Parsa nearly ran into the back of him, and he's invalidated his lap now as well.
So team tactics at AlphaTauri not really paying off. We've got a few of the front runners on outlaps. We've got the front row, provisional front row on outlaps. Jacko is coming towards the final 4 corners, 2 of which probably shouldn't really count, but anyway. And Wheelnut is actually rounding the officially the penultimate corner, and oh, look at this, he's getting a toe from his teammate. I hope it's a toe anyway. I hope he hasn't just started his lap behind Kaya, but we shall see how the team tactics play out, and I don't think this is a toe, unfortunately. I think Wheelnut has just... Oh no, I think it is. Yeah, that's either quite the mistake from Kaya or good team tactics, but Wheelnut has not executed that chicane very well at all, and I fear his first sector's not going to be great.
And Mike Noon was improving, but he's invalidated, so I don't know if he's going to have time to go again, but Poop Cannon's coming around the final couple of corners here, just around the final Ravata, and it will be foot to the floor to the finish line, and we'll see if he can make any improvement. I think he was down slightly, but he crosses the line and he only improves marginally, remains in 3rd place. Mike Noon will have time to go again if he's got the fuel. Dom's coming around the final couple of corners now as well. Where's he going to go? Blair Grills has just gone up into 5th place. Dom is half a second up, the graphic says. This is going to be a big improvement. He goes into 4th.
4th place, not too bad. I think Parsa's coming around the final corner now, the official final corner. That little kink there. Parsa crosses the line, improves his time, but not his position. So let's have a look then at Jacko in the Ferrari. And well, that's... I've never seen someone spin like that. That's quite impressive.
Yeah.
But that's his qualifying done then. Don't think he'll be too disappointed with pole position, unless we've got Mike Noon in the Williams, going through the final sector, and he's got no deployment. So I don't think he'll be challenging for pole position, especially not
Mike
now.
Noon's invalidated again.
Blair Grills, can Blair Grills provide a surprise pole position? I mean, he has been up at the front in the past, of course, but at the moment his pace doesn't look like it's going to challenge for pole position, given that he's currently 9/10 off pole position. But let's watch the McLaren driver then through the final two corners. He has no deployment left, actually, so he's either gone for 2 laps or he's just going for a very quick in-lap. But let's see then, the McLaren driver crosses the line and he will go 3rd. So,
There's Chris Johnson, and Chris goes 5th, and Dom is going to be the last driver to cross the line, and he goes into 2nd. So he goes 3/10 off Jacko in the end, so a strong final lap for Dom, although I think he's done 2 quick laps now, hasn't he? Might have even been 3 on those soft tyres, but that I think will be the qualifying session complete. Poop Cannon's out of fuel, I think, so he's just making his way back to the pit lane. But I think Mike Noon will be the most frustrated there, because he invalidated 2 laps at the end when he was going to improve.
Yeah, so I think Mike Noon then still struggling a bit to get to grips with the machinery underneath him, but P7, not a disaster. Chris Johnson's slightly higher than normal based on last season. We'd probably expect to see him maybe 2 to 5 places lower, but solid effort from the Aston Martin driver. He's decided to remain at Aston Martin, but it is Jacko on pole position by 0.3 of a second ahead of the returning, I was going to say vice champion, but it was 2 seasons ago that Dom was 2nd. But of course, Dom, I think he'll be looking for the title this season. He'll never admit it. He will never admit that he wants to win the championship, but deep down he definitely does. Otherwise, he wouldn't be back. So it'll be interesting to see how the race pans out for him, but it'll be a pretty good one.
It's incredible, really, isn't it, that Chris Johnson as well also never won a TGP2 title. Came so close a couple of seasons ago, a few seasons ago. Silverstone lost it, paced him at the last corner, but he'll be fighting for it as well.
So Jacko then on pole position with Dom Smith completing the front row. Daniel P. Wheelnut continues his impressive form in P3. He'll be hoping to do a bit better in the championship. 3rd last season, but he'll want to win it this time around. Blair Grills is in P4, Magic Poop Cannon in 5th. Chris Johnson is 6th with Mike Noon a disappointing 7th. Cena, M. Shep and Parsa complete the top 10, with Angel vs. Death an impressive 11th, with Indecisive Mackie in 12th. Kaya and Stereogram are 13th and 14th, with the retirees Paul McGee, Mr. John, Nell Jack,
and Mick Schumacher.
There we go.
So that was Jacko's 8th pole position in TGP2 history. I have to say, I thought it was a bit more than that. Just the 8 poles for Jacko in TGP2.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a little bit more than that as well, but oh well. I don't think he'll care too much about the stats. He'll be focused on the moment, and speaking of the moment, it isn't too far away now. The last few seconds of the countdown happening now before we go to the grid.
Yep.
And bit of a strange grid, because pole position around here, you kind of have to turn a bit to get back onto the racing line. It's situated on a curve, which is officially turn 1, even though the kink after that is more severe. But anyway, here we go in Imola. The 5 lights are now on, and we are underway here in Emilia-Romagna, and it's not a good start from Jacko at all. A huge amount of wheel spin, and Dom Smith immediately jumps into the lead with Daniel P. Wheelnut in 2nd. Jacko then, will he hang on to the top 3? He's got the inside line for turn 2, decides not to outbrake Daniel P. Wheelnut, so he is now in P3. Blair Grills retains 4th with Chris Johnson up into the top 5. Not a great start from Magic Poop Cannon, who's now down into 7th as Mike Noon has just passed him. So Dom Smith then, brilliant start from him. Jacko with work to do.
Horrid amount of wheel spin for Jacko off the line, and little Leslie lost 2 positions, as you say. Dom, as usual, getting a traditionally very good start, and is in the lead then, as we've got an AlphaTauri at the back there, going off the track with toe sets. Parsa's down to 16th position now, so a disastrous start for him. He's easily had the worst start of everybody. Blake Gilson's a bit wide there, but he's in 4th place where he started. Chris Johnson has made it up to 5th. Poop Cannon's lost a couple of positions as well. He's down to 7th. Oh, Blake Gilson was losing it, and Mike Noon has lost it. Mike Noon has lost their Aqua Minerale exit, and he's lost his front wing as well.
And side by side into the Variante Alta, and it's M-Shep on the inside of Cena, and it's M-Shep who takes the position. Cena running very wide there, injured versus Death getting a very poor exit. Paul McGee making up for a very poor qualifying where he did not set a lap. He's already up into P9, so how far can the Alfa Romeo driver find himself in this race? But Dom already has a 1 second lead over Wheelnut in second place. Jacko is still very much with Wheelnut in second place. I don't know why they're going that far wide on the straight, but anyway, Jacko, will he make a move into turn one? He's certainly got a lot more straight line speed at this moment in time, and he's going to get a better run, you'd think, out of this Tamburello chicane. But Daniel P. Wheelnut looks like he has enough traction to keep his Mercedes ahead of the Ferrari.
Yeah, that was very strange there. I think he was trying to break the toe, Wheelnuts, and then he's nearly running off the track as he was about to start the second lap. But he maintained second place for the time being. Is Pip Cannon going to have a go at Chris Johnson around the outside here? No, he's not. Got a spinner. Oh my word, Indecisive's gone right off the track and has gone completely, he was going flat, he was going way too quick on the approach of that corner, and it's caused a few other drivers behind to make certain other calculations about where to drive on the track. And we've got another car off, and we have a virtual safety car. Just saw Indecisive there, just charging through, and Neljak's also crashed out.
Crashed out under the VSC, that's an interesting one, but Neljak returning to the series, not in the fashion that he would have wanted to, but of course we do have another race coming up later on, so we will have a reason to stick around for this one. But will the front runners decide to pit? Now, we don't really get any notification as to when this virtual safety car actually ends, so you know, we don't really know, but who will decide to risk it? I have a feeling somebody will, and well, everyone's just disproving that. Oh, there we go. So they must have been told that it was ending, I hope, anyway. Yeah. Because it's a good thing I clarified that, otherwise I would have looked more stupid. But anyway, so Dom then, he's 1.7 seconds clear now, so he's timed that a lot better than Wheelnut behind him, and Jacko still pressuring him, so Wheelnut definitely looks like he has less race pace at this moment in time compared to Jacko right behind him. We have another yellow flag out there, and
yeah, I think
Cena and Parsa have pitted, so one of them's going to have to queue.
I think we've got a bit of the lag problem that sometimes happens in this circuit. We've seen this happen quite a few times around Imola, and just yellow flags now all over the circuit, but it's not obviously genuine yellow flags. But anyway, hopefully that will sort itself out as the race continues up front. And as I say, none of the drivers pitting because of the virtual safety car ending there, and we're about to start lap 4. And Paul has suddenly jumped up to 8th place, and I think that's genuine. Yeah, that is genuine. So a bit of desync going on as well, I think.
Our first turn penalty of the race, it is from M-Shep, so corner cutting penalties still plaguing him, but Magic Pitcan, can he get a run on Chris Johnson here? Chris Johnson, he's lacking a bit of pace here, and he's putting in a decent qualifying lap, and he finds himself running in P4, so he's had a very impressive start to the race. Magic Poopcan, he's got the DRS, he has not timed that very well. I don't think Chris Johnson really moved. I think Magic Poopcan just misjudged it, because the track of course does have a slight curve to it. Will he get a run now into the Villeneuve chicane? I don't think he will, you know, he's going to be too far back, and Magic Poopcan will remain in P5 unless he gets a better exit up to the Tosa hairpin. Will he go around the outside in his Ferrari? No, he will not. Chris Johnson defends the inside, and Blair Grills has gone off the track.
Yeah, he's lost out the Villeneuve chicane there, and has dropped down a few positions as well. Disaster for him, as Chris Johnson stays in 4th place for the time being. Almost running slightly wide there, Fitzgerald, but just about got away with it. And well, it's going to be interesting to see what the Ferraris do here once they come into the stop, because of course they're fair play beside each other, so they'll have to play it tactically, as he's all over the back of Chris Johnson, isn't he?
Yeah, Chris clearly has a lot less pace than the Ferrari right behind him, but overtaking at Imola, well, to be honest, I think he should have got past him on the last lap, but he misjudged it there. So let's see, will he have better fortune this time around? Chris Johnson taking a bit more liberties with the curb, within track limits though, but Magic Poopcan playing it a lot more safely. Now will he go around the outside this time? Yes, he will. Magic Poopcan surely with more straight line speed. A little bit of lag as we go down the straight, but he's going around the outside, and it's a very clean move and very nicely done.
So he's in 4th place then, and I wonder if he will be quickly beginning to challenge Jacko. And well, usually it's first come, first serve in terms of pit lane, and could he possibly get ahead of Jacko? But look at Wheelnut, meanwhile, he's closed right up on Dom all of a sudden. on the 5th lap here as Dom's tyres starting to go, those soft tyres. Remember, he'd done a few extra laps on them in qualifying, and Wheelnut really closing in all of a sudden.
Yeah, I wonder if that is tyre wear, as you said, due to the extra qualifying laps, because tyre wear was an issue that used to plague Dom back when he used the controller, but since switching to the wheel, he has found himself in much less precarious situations when it comes to the wear on his Pirellis. But yeah, Wheelnut is, as you said, right behind him now. The gap was nearly 2 seconds at one point. So once again, the DRS around here, it is very powerful. Dirty air on the game, not as powerful as it is in real life, and you think surely this is a brilliant opportunity for Wheelnut right now. But Dom is he's got a wise head on him. He knows it's a long season. I don't think he'll fight it too hard, and to be honest, I don't think he can, because here we go. Wheelnut then for the lead of the race. Breezes past with the DRS. Camera can't even keep up, he's so fast. But Dom then drops down into P2, and he'll be hoping he can make an attack on the medium tyres later on in the race.
And Angel versus Death has spun at the final corner, so he'll be heading straight for the pit lane, as did Jacko on that lap. So it's going to be interesting to see where Jacko comes out here. Can he get out ahead of Steady? No, he's definitely not going to get out ahead of Stereogram. But then there's actually quite a big gap. I don't know how this was suddenly a 34-second gap between half the field there. But anyway, Jacko's got a lot of clean, fresh air ahead of him now. And we'll see if he can put in a few quick laps and possibly make the undercut work on the top two.
Yeah, Jacko weaving then. He wants to get a bit of temperature into those tyres. So we'll see. Angel versus Death did make his way into the pit lane in the end and has dropped down to P15. Not quite sure what's happened to Paul McGee. How
well, Paul,
is that desync?
Paul is actually, yeah, Paul is running 6th on the road right now. He's actually running in 6th place, but for some reason, obviously, it's not being shown on the time screens.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. Parsa.
Here we go. Wheelnut comes in.
Oh.
Wheelnut comes in. So Dom decides to stay out again then. And Poop Cannon also wins. So if those tyres are hitting Dom, he's going to have to do another lap on them. And Wheelnut comes in. Poop Cannon comes in. Jacko is just exiting Varianti Alta now. And we'll see if he can get ahead of at least Poop Cannon. If he can maintain the position ahead of Poop Cannon. And can he possibly beat Wheelnut? No, he's definitely not going to beat Wheelnut. But could he possibly get out ahead of Poop Cannon?
Let's see then. They're making their way to the end of the pit lane. Jacko powering down the pit straight as McLean picks up a penalty. But here we go then. His teammate Magic Poop Cannon exits the pits, and he will get the position then. So Jacko will be ahead of Poop Cannon, but not Wheelnut, crucially. There's still a 1.8 second gap between the Ferrari and the Mercedes driver. And with a yellow flag there, I don't think that's anything lasting, so that's all good. But will Dom decide to pit this lap? You'd imagine so, because he did a lot of laps in qualifying. He'll have slightly fresher tyres, but it won't be as crucial come the end of the race. But let's see then.
Don't think that undercut's really done much, has it, really, for Jacko? It's pretty much as you were. But Wheelnut is about to come through to the Varianti Alta now, and is Dom going to pitch? Surely he will. Yeah. Yes, he does. In he comes then, and we'll see. Wheelnut just coming around the exit of Varianti Alta now, and you would imagine he's probably going to stay ahead. But anyway, let's see.
Yeah, I'd imagine he'll be ahead here, but you never know. Maybe Dom had a lot of errors left at his disposal, but Dom then. He's leaving the pit lane now, but here comes the Mercedes of Daniel P. Wheelnut. Of course, Jacko's only 1.7 seconds back, so where will Dom fit in all of this? He's exiting the pits now. Dom Smith in the Alpine. I think he's
Jacko's
going to be under threat.
Him.
Yeah, and Jacko has just got ahead of him. So Dom now has 2 cars to overtake if he wants to win this race, but he does have fresher tyres in comparison to the Ferrari by 2 laps, but I'm not entirely sure if that's really going to play out too well.
Well, we said that the undercut didn't work for Jacko, but actually, in terms of getting past Dom, it certainly did. I wonder if Poop Cannon might also be able to pressure Dom before he gets those tyres up to temperature here. He might be able to have a go possibly into Varianti Alta. It would be a risk, but anyway, it will certainly help prevent him getting his teammates of Jacko. Chris Johnson is still out on track right now. Is he going to pit this lap? Surely he will. He's gone 7 laps now on those soft tyres in this race. No, he's continuing. Chris Johnson is carrying on.
Well, I mean, I suppose if it's working for him, if he had a gap behind, then I suppose he wouldn't have been undercut by anybody. So I think Chris Johnson's tyre advantage may mean something come the end of the race, but I guess we'll have to see how it pans out. I mean, I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen a full safety car. We've seen a good few spins and a good few off-track excursions, but Magic Poop Cannon then has a huge run on Dom Smith, and Dom does have DRS ahead, so he'll be able to use that to defend, and it looks like he has much better straight line speed in comparison to the Ferrari behind him, and the Ferrari ahead of him, it has to be said, but not enough to pass. So Dom then didn't get a great exit out of Tamburello. Now, will Magic Poop Cannon have a run into Villeneuve chicane? He will not. And we have a yellow in sector 3. I think someone's gone for a spin at the chicane, but I think we're all good. And no race interruptions. But this is a pretty tasty battle we have going on here for what I believe will be a net P2.
Yes, it will indeed. Villeneuve certainly in the net lead. You have to say he's looking pretty comfortable right now. He's got a 1.7 second lead, and unless he has penalties, unless he gets penalties, you would say he's looking fairly safe for the victory. But as you say, this battle really is on for second place. Although I haven't said that, Jacko just closed in half a second on Villeneuve on this lap. So, oh, he's gone wide, Jacko. He's gone off, and you do get a warning for that. He's gone off at the effort variant Alta there, and Dom is still going to be within a second. And once again, Dom is going to be able to deploy the DRS. Jacko's 1.2 seconds behind Villeneuve, so it's not enough to get DRS. Dom will have it, Poop Cannon will have it.
Let's see then, what kind of inroads can Dom make on Jacko ahead? It looks like Dom has better straight line speed, at least in comparison to Magic Poop Cannon behind him. But Chris Johnson then is not going to be anywhere near these guys. So how close can Dom get? He's not close enough. And interestingly now, actually I was going to say we have back markers, but it's actually Wheelnut who's a lot closer than he was in previous laps. Wheelnut, I just saw him derating there, so he's used up his deployment. Let me just get the telemetry up on here.
Yeah, he's down to 13% right now, and he was in single figures just a moment ago. So is he struggling then on those medium tyres? And is he going to have Jacko, Dom, Poop Cannon, and maybe even Chris Johnson all chasing him down in the final 6 laps?
And I tell you what, in terms of deployment, Dom's looking pretty good, as is Magic Poop Cannon. So it's those two drivers who have a lot more deployment than the front two. So who knows, it could be advantage Dom at the end of this race. But we still have 6 and a bit laps to go. Mick Schumacher currently leads the race on track, but he has yet to pit. You'd imagine he would do so this lap. Let's see what tyres he started on. He started on soft, so yeah, I would hope that he will pit, and he will.
No, he's not.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know who he's trying to dummy.
Yeah. Okay, we'll gloss over that. But anyway, oh, we have a bit of desync there.
Yeah, with Paul's car.
As Magic Poop Cannon still struggling to catch Dom, and I think, do we have more issues here? Dom's got an X next to his name, and has Dom disconnected from the session, or has Magic Poop Cannon just got a much better run into the Villeneuve chicane? I think he has, but he goes very deep into it. So will Dom be able to brave around the outside of the Tosa hairpin? I don't think he will. I think Magic Poop Cannon has the track position. I don't think Dom's going to be able to get the run here, so Dom then will drop a place, and Chris Johnson is now within a second of Dom for P5.
Yeah, there's an X above Dom's name, but that looked like he was racing for position there, doesn't it? But he's actually still going quite slow, and yeah, he has left. Dom has indeed left the session, so that is a real shame for Dom. Then he was looking to get a decent result here. But that's it. He is gone as a Wheelnut runs a bit wide. I wonder if he's getting caught now in the Desierto of Mick Schumacher's car, who's still yet to pit, and Jacko is within 6 tenths.
Yeah, they've dropped Poop Cannon behind, so let's see then. Mick Schumacher, I don't know what he's trying to achieve here. Surely you just pit now, and there we go. He's out of the way, and thankfully for Wheelnut, he does have DRS, but he does not have any deployment. To be fair, Jacko doesn't have a whole lot either, so will he decide to make a move right now into turn 2? He'll have to go around the outside because Wheelnut has defended the inside, and Wheelnut breaks very early. Jacko has the inside line, and they're side by side through Tamburello. Who will brave it out here into the Villeneuve chicane? Jacko has the racing line, but Wheelnut has the inside, and Jacko around the outside of the Villeneuve chicane takes the lead of the race. So after a very disappointing start to the race, Jacko has made up for it and now leads the Grand Prix.
And what a move. What a move. They were side by side pretty much all throughout the first sector there. Absolutely fantastic. Side by side with Tamburello and Villeneuve chicane. And Jacko takes the lead. Now can Wheelnut stay within a second for DRS next time round? He actually might be able to, you know. He's doing decent enough at the minute. Only 4 tenths. Buchanan's still a second behind Wheelnut as well. Could Wheelnut come straight back at him, but really, has he got the ERS to do so? He would have the DRS. He's got a bit wide there through Varianti outside. That's allowed Jacko to pull away on the exit. It's gained him a couple more tenths. Jacko nearly running off the track there.
Yeah, I mean, DRS is very powerful around here, which with music to Daniel's ears, but yeah, he's half a second back here. He is still deciding to use his deployment, which I really don't think is a good strategy here. He needs to just let the DRS keep him within range and just save his deployment. But
here we go.
Obviously, you can't hear me, but here we go then. Will he decide to go around the outside? I mean, he's nowhere close. Sorry, the camera angle wasn't great for me. But Wheelnut then still deciding to use his overtake. I don't know why he's doing this, but Jacko then thought he was defending fresh air, but he did move onto the racing line. So Jacko, he's not left him behind, that's for sure.
Oh, he nearly touched there, and Wheelnut had to sort of make the move out of position there to get away from the rear tyre of Jacko's car, and it's allowed Buchanan to close it even further. So it's going to be a three-way battle here for the win. I wonder how many warnings they've all got. I'll have to have a check.
Yeah, and Wheelnut, I think, will have one lap pressure tyres as Jacko makes a big mistake on the exit of Aqua Minerale, and Wheelnut actually now retakes the lead by getting a much better exit. But crucially for Jacko, though, he's the one who's got the DRS now and more deployment at his disposal. But look at Buchanan in the other Ferrari. Will he make a move into the third last corner on the circuit? No, he will not, as Jacko goes a bit wide. Or did Wheelnut brake early? Let's see. But Jacko then, he's got the DRS, he's got far more deployment because Wheelnut keeps using his in places he really shouldn't be using it. And Jacko then, you'd imagine, is surely going to breeze past the Mercedes here, and indeed he does. I don't think Buchanan is going to be close enough, and indeed he's not. So it's as we were one lap ago. I think Wheelnut probably would have been better off not overtaking, although he would have to slam on the brakes to do so. But Jacko then retakes the race lead, and we have a 3-car battle for the lead here in Imola, and Wheelnut not helping his case there by getting quite the amount of understeer.
Well, do you think that was tactical when he went off there at the Aqua Minerale, the exit?
I don't think so, because it did look like he was not quite in control of the car, which is a very, very risky thing to do, because when these cars snap, they tend to be heading straight to the scene of the accident. So all my intervals have gone, but it certainly looks okay. And then Wheelnut...
Flare Grills spun.
Well, yeah, but Wheelnut nearly joined him. So pretty sure Wheelnut is still within a second here. So let's see. All my intervals have disappeared. I think they do eventually reappear.
Yeah, they'll reappear at the end of the lap. But Dom, incredibly, is still in 6th place despite not being in the race for the past 3 or 4 laps. Such as the big gap that seems to develop between halfway through the field here. But I think Jacko, he probably is within DRS, but that's a very big gap this time round, isn't it? And Buchanan, if anything, is going to be on Wheelnut. We've both got DRS here, but Buchanan nearly hits the back of Wheelnut, and that's the second time this race I've seen him have to let go of the throttle there.
But seemingly his own fault, because it's not a straight. There are corners on the run, to turn 2. So he should have had the move done there, but he failed to execute it and will remain in P3. But Wheelnut then, crucially, still only 6 tenths behind, but again, he keeps using his deployment. So he's only really got DRS. Like, he's using it out of here. I don't know why he's doing that, but still in P2 and still in contention here. Jacko could pick up a penalty. He could make a mistake. And, well, I don't think I can call a winner here. We're about to get one.
Really, Wheelnut's gone wide. I'd say Aqua Minerale there, but he's got away with it. But despite these 3 guys pretty much battle, and Chris Johnson hasn't really closed in at all, has he? But now it looks like suddenly he's really the closest he's been for the entire race here.
Yeah, Jacko does not look like he's in a particularly good position here, and Buchanan, he's got slightly more deployment than the 2 ahead of him, but he does not have great straight line speed. So Wheelnut then immediately onto the overtake. His DRS will be wide open. Can the Mercedes driver find a way past the Ferrari for the race lead? His slipstream will be building and building here, and Jacko will defend the inside, and Wheelnut will have to go around the outside. They made contact, and Wheelnut goes off the circuit and will drop to P3, and that allows Buchanan into P2. Will he get a run on his teammate? I think the stewards may need to look into that one, because it looked like Wheelnut deserved a bit more space than that. But Buchanan then into P2, And will he decide to challenge his teammate? Because, of course, he is not his permanent teammate for the rest of the season. He is just standing in for Bassett tonight. So Poop Cannon, I suppose, has nothing to lose in terms of his championship season. But he may not want to annoy his teammate all too much. But I don't think he's close enough, because Jacko has now pulled away and he's already a second clear. So I think...
Wheelock's got a penalty now as well.
He won't drop any places.
Yeah, he won't drop any places. But it's going to be a Ferrari 1-2 to start the season, but in very controversial circumstances. Wheelock done well there to actually stay in third place, I have to say, to recover that. It looks like Jacko's going to take the win, controversially.
Yeah, the stewards may need to look into this one, so I think the race result will certainly be provisional. But either way, we're going to call it as if it's true. And Jacko then wins the opening round of the season in Emilia-Romagna at Imola. Magic Poop Cannon returns to TGP2, finishes in P2. Daniel P. Wheelnut completes the podium, was looking for the race win, didn't quite get it, but who knows, we'll see what happens. Either way, Poop Cannon is ahead of him, so it's a win potentially lost there for Wheelnut. Chris Johnson is in P4, calm, consistent race. It's what we've come to expect from the Aston Martin driver. M. Shep, an excellent fifth. Dom probably would have had that fifth had it not been for M. Shep, or had it not been for his internet issues, it seems.
Well, he set the final lap on the last lap as well, so it shows he really had the pace.
Yeah, so Dom
and that's
then...
just being stolen by the girls.
Well,
I don't know how we managed to get such a big field spread. You've got like 34-second gaps here, 48-second gaps to Blair Girls. Not sure how that's developed. I do think there was a few lobby issues, as you say, but at least we had a great battle up front with the top three for the race win. But that final lap, Wheelnut was going for the move, wasn't he, around the outside, just like what Jacko had actually done to Wheelnut a few laps earlier. But did Jacko maybe not give him enough space, and then he made contact in it, just sent Wheelnut off into the gravel, but he managed to recover it. Ooh, was he pushed out, or did he just end up going down there himself? I think that one, as you say, will go to the stewards.
Yeah, because surely you have a bit of your car alongside, and if you're on the outside, then you have a right to be there. So I didn't get the best angle of it. I decided to go off board for it in the hopes that we would get a better field view of it, but it was kind of hard to tell. But my initial impression is that it didn't look like the cleanest of defensive maneuvers. But well, Ferrari right now will be happy, because if Jacko does get a penalty, then Ferrari still win. So
yeah.
Anyway, Jacko then provisionally wins in Imola, with Magic Poop Cannon in P2 and Wheelnut completing the podium. Chris Johnson, a very solid P4, with M. Shep in P5. Great race from the Haas driver. Dom returns to TGP2, finishes 6th. I think he'll be disappointed not to be on the podium, in all honesty, but still not a total disaster given his disconnection. Mr. John is P7 after climbing up from P16. Cena is 8th with Angel vs Death, and officially Parsa. Parsa had quite the eventful race and finished 10th in the end. Kaya is 11th with Blair Grills, Mike Noon and Stereogram rounding out the points. Mick Schumacher crashed towards the end of the race. Paul McGee is somewhere higher than that.
Well, Paul had a penalty, didn't he, as well, for speeding in the pit lane. I think he pissed twice, so it may not be too many.
He may have been 9th.
Really? I think it was that. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know, because he lost a lap.
Yeah.
So if he, I think I saw his car crossing the line after an AlphaTauri.
I'm just watching back the stream here, Roy, and you got the exact same angle as I did for that instance at the end. To be honest, actually, Wheelnut isn't as alongside as I thought he was at the time. I don't know, I think...
He's still there, though.
Yeah, but the corner was approaching. It was too late into the corner then to actually... Because even still, if the contact wasn't made, he was never going to get that move done from that position, was he? That late into the corner, still being his only had his tyres, his front tyres alongside the rears of Jacko. It wasn't like they were side by side. So I don't know, I think actually Jacko might get away with that.
I don't know, Johners is not impressed. He's phoned in and said that I think that one will go to the stewards because it didn't look like the cleanest move to him either. So,
and Dom saying that the game crashed on him and Mike, which is something that tends to happen around Imola. I see it's happened past 2 seasons in TGP2 Imola quali, and it happened in TGP1 one season as well. So it's weird. Seems to be a few glitches around Imola, it seems, on the game, and sadly for Dom and Mike, it has robbed them of a decent result, or a better result in this race, first race of the season.
yeah, hopefully none of that for the second race. Yeah, the lobby did seem to have a few issues, none of which were the driver's fault, because I thought it was a bit strange because Dom's internet, unlike historical times, is actually quite decent now, and he doesn't actually disconnect from things. But had this been a few years ago, or even maybe 1 year ago, I would have been like, oh well, there goes Dom. But no, his internet's actually decent now. But yeah, I found that one quite surprising. So I wonder if the same thing was happening to Alex, to Neljak, because I think he also joined and left. So although he crashed out anyway, so but maybe his game crashed as well. But
well, I am interested to know what happens as well with indecisive crash. I don't know if you've actually seen that, but it seems to be way too quick coming into the field there chicane, and it was just totally out of control. I wonder if that might have possibly been caused by some sort of glitch as well. I'm sure we'll find out later on.
I'm hardly sure what's going on with the lobby. You've gone to realistic performance, which we definitely don't want.
We do not want realistic performance.
Especially when the front runners are in Mercedes and Ferraris. So, I mean, although actually I forgot 2021 Ferrari wasn't that quick, but you know what I mean.
There you go, we're back on equal now anyway. And I think we'll be going very, very shortly then around Imola. Around Austria for the second race of this season. Just to see the settings on. Tyre temperature is on surface only.
Speaking of settings, I'm going to knock the master volume down, so apologies if I was a bit quiet during onboard shots. That's what I was actually going to go on board with Wheel Nut into turn 2 at Imola there, but I remembered that the audio, I forgot to switch it back, so I was worried that I'd be too quiet for the onboards, which may have been the wrong decision. I mean, they have their own onboards if it gets reported, so they'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just thinking, maybe Jacko might get away with that. Just got a feeling. But if he does get away with it, it will be his. I think it is his 7th TGP2 victory, which again, I'm surprised
Only
it's
7.
not higher than that. Yeah. That's certainly what it says on the website, anyway. But yeah, it's, again, I would have thought he had a few more wins than that in TGP too, but clearly not. We're getting ready then for Austria, second race of the season, and just getting some word in here, and apparently they seem quite civil about it all, don't they? About that incident at the end, apparently we're hearing.
Yeah, our source here is saying that that they're happy with what went down, so that's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only comment on the angle that I saw. So unfortunately, we don't have access to replays. We're not actually connected to FOM with different camera angles. So fortunately, we can't have the boffins sending it to us. But
There we go in Austria then, and we certainly got a dry quali. Don't know what state we're going to be in for the race itself.
I believe it's Styria.
Styria? What did I say? Oh, states. Okay. Yeah,
Anyway.
Make their way out onto the circuit. Yeah, it's going to gloss over that.
I don't know if it even is a stage, but you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah.
It's a region, isn't it, I think? Anyway, first car out on track is Cena. And he's just going through the turn 2 there. And I don't know if you've seen the updated chicane that they've now installed on the run to turn 2 or turn 3, whichever you want to call it.
Oh yes, the one which now has a wall perpendicular to the straight.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Not on the game, of course, although to be fair, that's actually understandable because it only got introduced this year. So unlike the likes of Spain and Australia and the Aston Marina and probably others as well, we can actually forgive them the time trial track maps. So anyway, let's not get into that. I could have a rant, but the TGP2 live stream's not the time or the place. So the Mercedes then, who'll be the first car across the line, is the Mercedes of Kaya. We've also got we've got everyone out on the track actually, apart from Mick Schumacher, Mr. John, and Dom.
Yeah, we've got a car off as well already. I think it's a McLaren. Blair Grills has gone off at turn 6. But anyway, here's the first car out in front. The track looks a bit dusty. You've seen a few bits of dust popping up here, flying up on the circuit, which sometimes you can happen during early stages of the session, during qualifying.
Is there a Styrian desert? Because it did look very, very dusty out there. It did kind of look like a Bahraini FP1, but Aston looked. Oh, it did look quite loose. Yeah, I got a very zoomed in angle of who was that crashing? Chris Johnson. I don't know how he's still in the session.
Oh, but, he's got no front wing.
Yeah, he. I got an interesting angle on the stream. You know those curb cameras that, in a way, kind of actually pick up nothing, but just kind of look cool. It did look like that Aston Martin got a bit of oversteer, and indeed it did. As Magic Poop Cannon sets the provisional pole time. Won't go into it too much because these are literally the initial laps. So in terms of actually checking who is where, not worth paying a huge amount of attention to. I think the key right now is that Chris Johnson has had a pretty ropey start.
Yeah, we have got some drivers on mediums as well in these early stages, such as Jacko, who's just got into 4th place. Poop Cannon on pole, passing just behind, but the gap is very, very small between the two of them in the early stages here. We've got Angel versus Death coming around the final corner. He's going to put a lap time on the board. Where will this put him? It'll put him into 5th place for now. But who else have we got on a lap? Mike Noon crossing the line. He goes into 5th on a 105.8 in the early stages. And Dom is on a lap, and Chris Johnson has made it back to the pit lane.
Dom then, I think the Red Bull Ring is a circuit that he does quite enjoy. Same with Imola. Hopefully his game will remain with us and he can be up there once again. But only got 2 more corners of the Red Bull Ring to negotiate. And for whatever reason on this game, the run to the penultimate corner. Oh. Yeah, I don't know what it is with this game. The run to the penultimate corner is just the bumpiest surface known to man, and I've never really understood why. But
oh my wow!
Mick
Schumacher has crashed in a very dangerous part of the track there. Car suddenly having to get out of the way just as a cut to it on my view. But anyway, here's Mike Noon coming around the final corner. He's going to go again on another push lap. And we'll see if this is an improvement. I think it will be, and it's an improvement up into 3rd place for the time being then for Mike Noon. And unfortunately, it's a disconnect in the previous race, of course.
Nearly crashed on the in lap there. Better to crash in the in lap than the out lap, I suppose, or indeed the flying lap. But still looking a little bit ropey behind the wheel in certain traction zones. As Cena now gets provisional pole. Just breaking into the 104.8s as Wheelnut has slotted himself into P5. M Shep jumps up to 7th. So it's kind of a difficult track. It's a very, very difficult track to nail. It's easy to drive, very difficult to master. Because you need to maximise every single corner around here. And I think every corner you can gain and lose so much time.
And it can be very, very easy, of course, to pick up penalties around here with corner cutting.
Yeah, like It's one that's it's deceptively difficult or deceptively simple. Which way is it? It looks easy, but it's not. So
Yeah.
is that deceptively simple or deceptively difficult? Because it's
Uh,
deceiving you into thinking it's easy, but it's not, or is it?
no, I think it's deceptively simple.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean.
So here's, I thought Indecisive was on a lap, but he's not. He's on an out lap. Shep's on a lap though, just behind him, and he's still on the medium tyres. He's pitting actually. So Shep is one of the drivers who does like to go on medium tyres early on in the qualifying session, as Parset does not improve. I think he was just about to start a lap, and so also is Wheelnut.
Now Jack, though, in the Williams, crosses the line up to P8. And have we lost the driver? Paul McGee.
Yeah, Paul's gone, and one other one as well, because we had 18 first time round.
It's only one Haas, but I swear there was only one Haas last time.
Yeah, I think there was only one Haas last time. I'll try and work it out. He obviously didn't have a great race. Stereogram is the other one.
Ah, yeah, I thought it was the second offer, Mayo.
So here comes Wheelnut. Then it says he's just gone purple in the middle sector. Don't know if that can be trusted or not, but given Wheelnut's pace in the first race, it would not be a shock if it was indeed real. See if he can nail the final corner. Well, he possibly could use a bit more curb there on the exit, but anyway, he crossed the line, and it's good enough for the time being to put him on pole position.
Well, I mean, that'll satisfy him for now, but yeah, he didn't really take a whole lot of liberty on that curb as Magic Poop Cannon immediately dethrones him. But again, you look at a curb on this game and you get a penalty, so that's just the way things are, I guess, on this particular mode, which I'm not too keen on. But Parsa seems to be on a lap in the second sector, heading down to turn 4. It's a braking zone
Jacko.
that I never liked. Jacko is on a lap. He
was on a good lap, but he's gone a little bit wide there, and he's still improving because it's his first lap on the soft tyres, but he's definitely lost a few tenths there, almost going onto the gravel. We'll see what happens as he goes through the final couple of corners. Oh, you have to just go as brave as you can be in these final 2 corners. Across the line for Jacko. It won't be a great lap because of the error, and he's only goes 6th.
Dom's also on a lap. He's only at turn 4 though, so Parsa then rounds the final corner. AlphaTauri is currently P3 and P4, and make that P1 and P4 as Parsa goes a tenth quicker than Magic Poop Cannon. So drivers to watch out for then. Mike Noon is on a lap. Indecisive Mackie is now P7. Dom Smith is on a lap though, and actually he's not because it's invalid. Let's see, does he go into the pits? No, he doesn't, so he must have the fuel then. Of course, it is a very short lap, so the minimum you can have, I believe, is it 5 litres of fuel? Or 5 kilos of fuel, which at a short track gives you more laps. So,
yeah,
I think he'll have the fuel then. But not the ideal scenario, because you'll be using up your tyres more than you want, as Mike Noon. Provisional pole position then, with just over half the session elapsed.
Well, we know what he's like with his win it or bin it mentality, and this might be a win it situation for Mike Noon here.
Yeah, it seems to be a track he definitely enjoys. He's quick around here on Gran Turismo as well. And actually, speaking of bidding it, I actually cut away just before Mike Noon crashed into the wall. He's kept it going though, so all is not lost. And that was M-Shep who just jumped up into the top 6.
Here comes Dom.
Dom around.
Cena's just gone into second place, hasn't he? But here comes Dom. Don't invalidate this time, Dom. No, he doesn't. That's very, very good, that. And this could going to be a solid lap time indeed. And in fact, it is pole position by, well, just over 2 tenths.
So can this be Dom's first pole position in quite a lot of races? Don't have the exact number for you right now, but Dom would be very, very happy with a pole position. It's a circuit he really enjoys and excels at. So Dom then, with a 104.2, put a bit of margin between himself and the rest of the field. But we still have 7 minutes to go, and that's around the Red Bull Ring. That's a lot of time. as Chris Johnson then rounds the penultimate corner. The Aston Martin driver, the only one yet to set a lap that he hasn't crashed or remains in the pits for qualifying. And Chris Johnson then invalidated at the final corner and doesn't set a lap still. With only 7 minutes to go, Chris Johnson has no lap time.
Fortunate stuff then for Chris Johnson, as once again Senna is about to start another lap time then, and he didn't have a great race in Imola, the two AlphaTauris, but hopefully we can bounce back this time around in Austria. Just want to see Senna's first second. He's actually down slightly this time around, so is anybody else towards the end of a lap about to improve perhaps? Chris Johnson's invalidated.
That's Jacko on an out lap. The Mercedes drivers are, let's see, Wheelnut, he's on a lap. Let's see, he's a 10th up on his previous best, so he could find himself jumping up into the top 5, maybe a bit more if he can find some pace in the final sector. I think he has a bit of traffic though at the penultimate corner. Are they going to pit? No, they're not, so I don't know if the Dirty Air is going to disrupt him in the final corner. But Wheelnut then, he'll get a bit of a tow here, so I think it's evened itself out. But Wheelnut crosses the line and it's P2. Just over a 10th. He lost a lot of time on his previous lap then because he was 4/10 better off. So he found 3/10 in that final sector. Senna crosses the line and it's P3 for Senna. I think Senna had pole position last season. So this is a track that Senna quite enjoys. Of course, he made his TGP1 debut around here, I believe.
Jacko is about to find time, provided he doesn't make the same error that he did last time at this corner. No, he doesn't, so he's 3.5 tenths up, and the graphic says he's gone pale. Was that a little bit wide there through 6? I think it might have been slightly, but it's okay. It'll do. Let's see if he can fly through this final sector now. That looks very, very good. What's he going to do through the final corner? Nice bit of curve on the entry and the exit. Will this be good enough to put him on pole? No, it won't. In fact, it's only good enough for 6th place. It is very close, isn't it, between 2nd and, well, 6th place right now, isn't it? But Dom's got that 10th and a bit advantage.
Yeah, Dom's placed a bit of margin. Not a gigantic margin by any means, but Parsa then jumps into P2. So the field then, let's see, I don't know if there's more than a 10th between any given driver. Actually, there is between Mike Noon and Jacko, but still a few minutes left in the session. Still plenty of lap times that we are going to see improved upon. So who knows here? I can't really call a pole position candidate, but I'd say Dom is the favourite, but don't be surprised if it's any of the top, I'd say 7.
Yeah, I totally agree. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Maybe even Chris Johnson may pull out a stunner. He still hasn't got a lap in just yet, though.
Yeah, which is surprising because Chris Johnson, I don't know, he may just have to gun it and say, well, you know what, this is my final lap, let's just go for it. Or does he play it safe and put a bit of extra fuel in the car, give himself 2 flying laps and potentially compromise his race tyres? He's really not in a good position here. But if he wants to get 2 laps, he'll want to get out soon enough.
Just watching Shep as he's about to no, and he pits again. That's the second time that's happened with Shep in this qualifying session, I think. But anyway, coming out now with 3.5 minutes to go, just over. And this will surely be for their final runs, because they could get 2 laps in. It is quite easy to do so around this short track.
We've got Indecisive Mackie in the Alpine on a flying lap. He's currently running in P11. And he finds just a few tenths, or a few hundredths. Well, no, just under a tenth. He'll leapfrog Neljak, but there's a bit of a gap between Blair Grills in 9th and Neljak in P10. So it seems the top 9 are kind of in their own kind of realm, and I don't know where he's
making his own track there, Indecisive.
Yeah, he's racing around the Österreich ring, but the track has since been updated, so that will be an invalid lap for him. Kaya then, he's 2/1000th of a second down after the second sector. He crosses the line, he improves his time but not his position. Was running very low on deployment. I hope he's not using overtake on his outlap, but anyway, Paris is still in the pits. He's still got time to leave, so he'll be fine. But we've a Mercedes at the final corner. We've Daniel P. Wheelnut then. I think he'll be the first of the pole contenders to go around and set a lap. And if I was Chris Johnson, I'd want to be getting out on track pretty soon. But let's see what the first sector is like for Wheelnut then. He's got his DRS wide open, blast through turn 2. And he's half a tenth down on his previous lap. He can still find time, of course, in the next 2 sectors, because I think every thousandth is going to count around here, given how close the field currently is, and probably will be come the end of the session. So into turn 4, downhill, awkward braking zone, flat out easily through turn 5. Now turn 6 can be quite the challenge. It's a bit blind. It goes downhill as you go through it, and let's see his second sector time. He's found a little bit of time in comparison to his previous lap. So let's see then, will it be an improvement for the Mercedes driver? He's only got 2 more corners to go, and if he is down, he may as well take a few risks with the curbs here on the track limits. And he's messed up that final corner. That was a lot of understeer there. Did not connect with the apex and did not hook up a good lap time. So let's see who is behind him. We've got a Ferrari on track behind him. It's Magic Poop Cannon. He's nearly a tenth of a second up on his previous best, which would elevate him a position, but he's backed off here. I think he's going for another lap, so he obviously has messed up the previous few corners. So Magic Poop Cannon needs plenty of time to go again, so that's all fine.
Cena also messed up his lap. He's backed right off as well. I think he's going to go again. So getting a few errors on the final runs here. Jacko is only very slightly up. What about Mike Noon? Didn't catch his second sector there, but it says he's gone purple. I don't know if that's true or not, but he's going to possibly improve here.
100th down on his previous best, but yeah, he had a lot of understeer coming through turn 6, actually turn 7 I should say, but Mike Noon then crosses the line. It's not going to be an improvement. I don't think he'll have quite the amount of deployment that he needs to set another lap. Jacko then crosses the line and he's up to P4. So Jacko then, if he found 100th of a second, it could have been P3, but Jacko then provisionally P4. Cena
is a tenth and a half up in the first sector, but he's right behind this McLaren of Blair Grills, and I think Blair Grills is on a lap, so he's just not obliged to get out the way here. But he's a really quick first sector, Cena, but this McLaren may hurt him.
Yeah, he may just be out of range in terms of dirty air, and Blair Grills actually gets out of the way, so it mustn't have been a great lap for the McLaren. Parsa then will be no higher than second, but Cena then could be the one to dethrone Dom for his first pole position in quite a few seasons. So Cena then rounds the penultimate corner and he invalidates his lap. He's cut the he's gone invalidated on the inside, which is not something you often see. So P5 at best. Then what can Mike Noon do? He's only got 2 more corners of the circuit to go in the Williams. Chris Johnson jumps up to P8 in the end, so business as usual for him. But Mike Noon then rubs salt in the wounds of Cena and gets into the top 5 instead of him. Is Dom on another lap? He's very much not.
Dom spun, and Jacko has not improved. So really, not many improvements at the end. Then was Kai going to put it on pole?
He did not. No.
Looks like he coasted to the finish line there. Maybe he's out of fuel, but so slightly anticlimactic end to that qualifying session. I have to say, it's you know how close it is. You know how close it is around this track, and maybe the nerves just got to them all, and he couldn't get the perfect lap together.
It's such an awkward track. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I understand like why it is as revered as it is, but it's never been one of my favorites. I find a lot of the corners are very awkward and it's very difficult to get right. But,
yeah, it's difficult. It is difficult, but I enjoy the track. I enjoy watching races around here. Look how close it is, by the way, between Wheelnut, Jacko and Mike Noon there. So close between 3rd, 4th and 5th, but really it's so close between the top 6, I suppose you could say. What could Cena have done? Look at that, he's 2 tenths off. Remember, the first sector he was a tenth and a half quicker almost.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything as anywhere near as close in the race, we're in for a pretty good one. So Dom Smith then takes pole position, which is it's already one more than he managed last time he was in the series. So fantastic lap from the Alpine driver, with Parsa joining him on the front row. Wheelnut P3 once again in his Mercedes, with Jacko with the pole sitter from Imola in P4. Mike Noon is 5th with Cena in 6th. Poop Cannon P7, Chris Johnson in the lower end of the top 10, as we are used to seeing, with Blair Grills and M. Shep rounding out the top 10. Nell Jack will be the first driver on fresh tyres.
It's Dom's first pole since 2016, season 14 of TGP2. This is season 31. and it's his 22nd pole position overall. So it's been a very, very long time.
Well, there you go. Quick update on the race last that we just saw in Imola. There will be no further action. So Jacko did indeed win the first race of the season. But let's see who wins this one then around the Red Bull Ring. It's a fairly cloudy looking day, but I believe the forecast is going to be dry. And everyone readied up pretty quickly there as the lights illuminate on the gantry. Let's see what kind of start Dom can get then. It looks like a pretty good start from the Alpine driver. Indeed it is. It looks like Parsa gets a good bit of wheel spin, and Wheelnut is already challenging for P2 right behind. But Wheelnut then goes a bit wide, misses the apex, but that's all fine and well. So Parsa then retains P2. Mike Noon is now up into P4 with Chris Johnson staying in P8. Jacko and Magic Poop Cannon battling once again as Wheelnut misses his braking point by quite some margin. I don't know how he has managed to avoid Dom in P1 there, but it's a brilliant start from Dom as we saw last time, and it's Parsa in P2. Mike Noon now up into P3 thanks to Wheelnut sending it to Germany. So so I think Dom will be pretty pleased with that if his heart hasn't failed.
Yeah, I would have seen that Mercedes charging in those minutes there. That's famously what Cena done in TGP1 a couple of seasons ago, 2 seasons back. But he was calm through there. He's actually had a good start up into 4th place at Wheelnut, just sent it right in there, and unfortunately did not work for him. He's got 2 Ferraris almost going side by side here, and he's got a bit wide, Jacko, and Jacko's actually pitting. Did Jacko get damaged? Did Jacko possibly hit Wheelnut maybe even?
Maybe. I mean, that's the thing. I wasn't expecting a Mercedes just randomly appear on the inside there, so don't know if he was hit. He's already got a 3-second penalty for multiple
Cena's
warnings.
spun.
And Cena has spun, so disappointing qualifying turns into a disappointing race.
And
Mike Noon
he got past Parsa, but then Parsa's gone really late on the brakes, and now Mike Noon confirmed 2nd place. So a disastrous couple of seconds for AlphaTauri there, unless Parsa can come back on Mike Noon now.
So Mike Noon versus Dom then. I think these two have the most wins in the series. I think Mike Noon is the one, of course, with the record. But let's see then. Parsa tries to fight it back into turn 6, but nothing happening there for him. Parsa tends to be a driver where I'd say his quali pace is maybe a little bit stronger than his race pace. But of course he has won races in the past, so don't be surprised if he is indeed challenging for the win later on in this race. But yeah, scruffy second lap from the AlphaTauri driver as Dom's lead. Will it go over second? Not quite. So Mike Noon then just about retaining that gap and sets the fastest lap of the race until Wheelnut and Poop Cannon just behind in P4 and P5. So we could have a we could have a 5-car battle here for the lead with Chris Johnson just behind to pick up the pieces if indeed there's any incidents. And DRS is already enabled, and Mike Noon 0.3 of a second behind as Parsa then. I don't know if he missed his braking there or if Mike Noon went deep, but he's very close to the Williams just ahead of him. He's got his DRS wide open, but so does Mike Noon, and whatever happened at turn 3 there has enabled Dom to get a bit of a run, but it's very difficult to break the toe around here.
It is indeed, yes, but so Parsa keeping Mike Noon honest then, as you say. Dom can't get that 1 second. Cena indecisive. We're going side by side for the entire first half of this lap, I think, and Cena in the end gets back ahead. He's having to recover through the field now, of course, after the moment. And we've got a cut off, and it's Chris Johnson has spun. Chris Johnson has spun off the track.
Well, my comment about him picking up the pieces has gone downhill rather quickly. As Mike Noon crucially picks up a 3-second penalty. And Wheelnut as well has a penalty. He got that one earlier on in the race. So that's music to Dom's ears there. He's now leading as we have a car in the pits. It's indecisive Mackie, but Mike Noon then all over the back of Dom. Dom not really putting up a huge fight, but to be honest, I'm not really sure what he could do because the pace advantage that Mike Noon had was falsified by him missing this braking point. So Dom Smith then will retake the lead then, but Mike Noon is still the one with the DRS because he was still behind at the detection point. And so Mike Noon then will stay in P2 with Dom just about holding on to the lead, but it's already lap 4 and the gaps between the top 4 are pretty small.
Well, Mike Noon did not need to make that error, did he? Because if he got ahead of Dom there, he could have tried to begin pulling a bit of a gap, which he now knows he's going to have to do because he's already picked up a penalty. But of course, That's not to say, of course, that these guys won't also get penalties, because it is easy to do, but you might get another one if he's not careful, because he was definitely extended there, and he probably just got another warning there as well. That might be another couple of warnings for Mike Nguyen. Parsa is right behind him, and once again, we're going to have another race down to turn 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the position you want to be in on the last lap is going to be second here, because the leader, what chance does he have as Mike Nguyen then tries to go up the inside, and we have Parsa also getting involved. The three of them, 3 wide into turn 3. I mean, I'm not really sure what to make of that. I mean, going up the middle of the 2 cars, quite the brave decision then, as Mike Nguyen is already running out of deployment, and they're 3 wide again into turn 4, and Dom was quite late on the brakes there, and he drops down into P4. That's not the usual kind of driving we see from Dom there. I don't know if that was aggression or if he genuinely just missed his braking point, but Dom is now down into P4 with Wheelnut. Just kind of was kind of observing it all there, but he's now up into P3, so he's now right in the thick of it as we have Angel versus Death off at the exit of turn 1. Don't think that's going to cause any major incident. Parsa decides to pit, but Wheelnut missed it.
Yeah.
So
Parsa caught Wheelnut out there, didn't he? That was a bit of a strange one. I don't think Parsa got damaged. I think that's just a tactical stop there. But Parsa, wow, how did those 3 not all crash out there as they were going through side by side, as Don now picks up a penalty?
Well, so that basically means...
Parsa is changing the front wing. Is changing the front wing.
I think Parsa may have got damaged there when he went through the middle of them, literally through them, barging them out the way. We have another incident.
Poop cannons hit the back of Dom. Poop cannon went into the back of Dom into the turn 3, and I wonder if that might be a bit damage now.
That is a lot of damage.
I can see he's definitely got damage.
So that's another car with damage then, and I wonder if Wheelnut has damage, minor damage it has to be said, but damage nonetheless. It's allowing Mike Nguyen to go off into the lead. So what was a battle where everyone was about 3/10 behind each other, we spread out quite a little bit here. I don't think Wheelnut has any damage. I think he's managed to avoid it somehow. He's now got DRS, crucially, as we begin another lap and begin another potential DRS train here, as Magic Poop Cannon loses the place to Blair Grills as he pits to change that front wing. But Blair Grills then moves up into the top 4. We'll have to see where Magic Poop Cannon comes out in relation to Parsa. Parsa's got himself a decent gap, 3 seconds behind Jacko, who's currently running in P13. But Daniel P. Wheelnut then is the driver on the move with the DRS. Will he decide to go up the inside of turn 3? He will not. Look like he might braked a little bit early and then released it a bit there. But Wheelnut then with the run heading down into turn 4. Looks like Mike Nguyen has quite a bit of a gap ahead, with Innes Mackie picking up another penalty. We've got quite the amount of penalties so far. Track limits around here are very difficult to stay within the boundary of. And let's see, M. Shep behind Mr. John then. Is he going to make a move into turn 4? No, he will not. Mr. John staying ahead in P7 in his Red Bull. So I don't think M. Shep's going to make a move at the end of this lap. But Wheelnut then very close to Mike Nguyen. At what point do these drivers pit? Does Dom behind go to the pits? No, he doesn't.
Mike Nguyen pits right now.
Is that allowed?
Mike Nguyen comes in. What do you mean is that allowed?
Well, did he not just cut across the line? Is he allowed to do that?
I thought that didn't really matter, to be honest.
If it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to, we'll gloss over it. I don't think
it's ever really enforced it. I mean, Yuki Tsunoda certainly fell foul of it, didn't he?
Oh, well, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. But anyway, yeah, so Dom then is now right with Wheelnut, and looks like he got a bit of oversteer there. He'll still have the DRS, so he'll still make that time up that he lost on the exit, but I don't think he would have been challenging for the race lead. But he doesn't seem to have a huge amount of straight line speed, unless Wheelnut is doing his tactic from Imola of just burning it all up. And indeed he is. Look at that. He's using. Why is he using it there? I don't really understand it. But anyway,
well, just very quickly, Mike Nguyen came out of the pit lane here, right behind Kaya, and Jacko is actually ahead of Parsa. Remember, Jacko pitted on the first lap, and actually Mike Nguyen's being held up here by Kaya and Mick Schumacher, and it might bring Jacko into the game here, and it could be very positive for Wheelnut and Dom as well. He's having to overtake Kaya around turn 5, and is he going to get past Mick Schumacher as well? Into turn 6, late on the brakes. Yes, he does get past both of them, but he definitely got held up.
He did get held up there, and I think I don't think Jacko's going to be a threat come the end of the race, given that he had to pit at the end of the first lap. We've got Blair Grills and Wheelnut coming into the pits. Did Wheelnut change his wing? I don't think he did, so I think he escaped any damage. But Mike Noon then,
is Wheelnut
where
going
will
to
he
jump
be?
Mike Noon? He had to spend time getting past Kaya and Mick Schumacher, and Wheelnut is going to take the title out through the corner, but Mike Noon's just out ahead.
But will not be ahead of the Red Bull driver. I don't really think Marco cares about who he's racing, but will not has the deployment. Marco does not. Marco will still try to throw around the outside, not entirely sure why, but you'd imagine then with the fresher tyres, will get the better traction. Indeed, he does. He's got the DRS. And can he overtake Mike Noon on the run down to turn 4? He's got the outside line, which is not really what you want. But Mike Noon has to go tight then. Will he get the better legs? I think he's been hit. He's been pushed along by Mick Schumacher there. That may have actually been more of a help than a hindrance. But Wheelnut then will stay behind Mike Noon. At what point does Dom decide to pit? It's not going to be this lap. He's staying out again.
I would have pitted. He should have been in surely this lap while they were battling.
You'd think so. Jack decides to pit, but I don't really think he was in the fight for the lead. So that's another car out the way. Mr. John also opting to pit then. So the only car at the front of the grid that has yet to pit is Dom, as Mick Schumacher runs very wide. Mick Schumacher staying with Wheelnut here, so maybe Mick Schumacher actually has some hidden pace in that Red Bull that he didn't quite put together. But
he's actually going to go for an overtake, isn't he? On Wheelnut, this would be disastrous for his Wheelnut's race. Although Wheelnut is using the DRS now to pull away. And he's actually closes right back into Mike Noon. So Mike Noon goes a bit wide. Well, again, if these guys still could keep fighting, Dom still might be able to make a pit stop and be out ahead. But it would take a big overcut for that to happen. But they are losing a lot of time here.
Yeah, I don't think Mike particularly likes turn 3 at this circuit. He seems to be struggling a little bit on the entry and exit. But Dom then, does he decide to pit this lap? Yes, he does. He will have fresher tyres come the end of the race, which I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be too useful to him, too beneficial, because the guys are closing in on him.
Well, and, I mean, this is purely just based on the previous sector, but in that middle sector of this lap, Wheelnut and Mike Noon were still a tenth quicker than Dom, but I'm not sure what it was like earlier on. But here comes Dom out the pit lane.
Out of the pit lane then comes Dom. He's not going to be ahead of these guys. Will he be ahead of Jacko though? He will not. He'll be just slot in behind. He won't have any DRS, and Pars is also right behind him, so he needs to be wary of the AlphaTauri right behind. Pars is not afraid to make a move, and indeed he's all over the curb. Tries to go around the outside, but nothing's going to happen there. Jacko then, he's been on those tyres since lap 1. He's basically done the recommended stint already on those medium tyres, and we still have 7.5 laps left of racing to go. So I'm not entirely sure how this is going to pan out for Jacko, because the field, unlike Imola, is incredibly close.
I mean, we should say that Jacko actually leads the race right now because he doesn't have a penalty and the other guys all do. He actually is within 3 seconds. So he is technically in the lead of the race, but it won't be for much longer.
Actually, yeah, that is a fair point. So I think Jacko then, as you said, I don't think he will lead. As Magic Poop kind of goes for a spin on the exit of turn 7. Can be easily done if you take too much curb. It's Wheelnut picks up yet another penalty. We may have to bring up the penalty screen come the end of the race. But Mike Noon then, he's got more than a second clear. So Magic Poop Cannon is now out of the session. I think he's actually crashed with the safety car.
Safety car.
Which
now, I seen a car was approaching Poop Cannon just as Poop Cannon was starting to go sort of recover back on track. So I wondered if there might have been a bit of contact there, and that's what's caused that retirement. And we do now have a full safety car. This is not good for Wheelnut. He's just got a 6-second penalty.
Fantastic for Jacko though. If he does pit, he will lose a fair bit of track position, but at the same time, his tyres are a bit dead. So does he sit back and kind of just hope to stay in the slipstream and, you know, nick a probable podium, or does he risk it all and know that he'll jump up a lot of positions, but just have to kind of gamble on passing everyone? And not everyone, but he'll...
I think it's probably best for Jacko to pit here, because, as you say, it's a long way to go on those tyres. He's got 2 warnings, Jacko, so he's not far off the penalty himself. But I can't imagine any of these guys are going to pit. Wheelnut pits. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, but he is pitting. Jacko stays out. Well, it's interesting by... Jack's been given a penalty for speed under the safety guard. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think Jack's been slightly rusty tonight, but I'm sure that'll get polished up come the end of the season. We have a McLaren coming out of the pits. It's Angel versus Death.
He's just going to pit lane, but I don't know what's going to happen here with the lap cars. I don't know if he's being told to go because the AlphaTauri is slow. And oh dear. This may cause a bit of controversy. Hopefully this won't give anybody any warnings or anything. It's not what you want to see. But anyway, we've got... Where's Wheelnut? Wheelnut's in 7th place, so it's not terrible, that, really, for Wheelnut.
It's not, but the penalty is. And I think, given that he's got 6 seconds...
Oh! What's going on with Jacko and Parser now? Jacko is into 3rd place. Jacko wasn't there before, was he?
I don't think so. So...
Well, as far as I know, there was a penalty awarded yesterday, wasn't he, for overtaken under the safety car in TGP1. Jacko might get in a bit of trouble for that.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, obviously we don't know what happened, or at least I don't, because I was watching what was going on in the straight beforehand. But Jacko then seemingly jumps a place, and this really, well, if he did overtake under the safety car, then he will actually get a penalty here. But
yeah. So just looking at all the penalties then, just say 6 seconds for Wheelnut. Cena is in 5th place right now, by the way, but he has 8 seconds. And in fact, I think one of them is for the speed under the safety car, isn't it? So maybe he should have pissed then on that lap and got rid of 5 seconds. But Wheelnut is behind Neljak, and then of course Neljak has got a drive-through. So will Neljak pit immediately on the safety car restart? Because then ahead of Neljak is then the lapped cars of indecisive lanes of versus death. So Wheelnut's still got quite a way to go before he gets to the guys up towards the front of the pack. And he has the penalty, the 6-second penalty to deal with as well. Jacko doesn't have a penalty, but he is on very old tyres, and he may get in a bit of trouble because of that overtake on the safety car. So this is totally still wide open.
I have to say, the driver in 9th has no penalty.
Kaya! Oh, well, he got that famous podium, didn't he? In Zandvoort last season. That was also helped because of overtakes under the safety car, or on a safety car restart. Could Kaya be on for another solid result here as well?
I mean, he's already in the top 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with no penalties. Safety car will be in this lap. We will get 4 laps of racing, which will go by pretty quickly because it's a very short track, and it's a very short track where everyone's very close in terms of pace. So
Parser and Jacko are fighting again here. Parser is wanting to be right up alongside.
Let's see.
About when is Mike going to drop it? Safety car is not going very fast. It's just getting towards the penultimate corner now, and then it will head into the pit lane. And Mike Nguyen backs the pack up. It's really the top 5 who we need to watch, because then there's the lap cars and Neljak, which will, I imagine, pit to service drive-through. Mike Nguyen's weaving. When is he going to applaud it? Dom's waiting. Oh, I thought it was going to be them, but it wasn't.
Let's see, then he's weaving maybe a bit more than is necessary, but he goes now then, and he gets quite the jump on Dom there.
Massive jump on Jacko.
Oh, Jacko has not had a good restart. Oh, we have the 2 AlphaTauris going side by side into turn 1 then, and it's going to be Parsa who leads ahead of Cena, and there's a McLaren there who's just randomly appeared. That's just versus Death making up his own track. But Jacko then all over the back of the AlphaTauri of Cena for P4 then, as Jacko then up the inside of the AlphaTauri driver. Will they make contact? I think they may have banged wheels there. Jacko and Cena side by side heading down on the run to turn 4. Cena currently in P4, but Jacko has that inside line. Will he break later than the AlphaTauri? Indeed he will. Will he run him out of road? He will not. And will Cena get the better exit? No, he will not. Oh no, maybe he will though. He'll try to go around the outside of turn 6, but he does not have the momentum. Jacko has the better line, and Cena will have to relinquish that place.
And Dom is closing in on Mike Nguyen as well. Mike Nguyen was a bit wide going through the middle sector, and Dom is going to be right on Mike Nguyen here. Remember, no DRS for another lap. Mike Nguyen nearly losing it on the curve there in the penultimate corner. Got a yellow flag out. I don't think it's going to cause any issues. Kaya's dropped down to 13th now, I see, as Neljak is going to come in and save his drive-through. But this is the chance now for Dom. Remember, they both got 3-second penalties. Oh, that's very late on the brakes for Dom there. And he lost a bit of time, and he won't have DRS, so I don't think he's going to close in too much here.
No, but he will at least have the benefit of the slipstream in the first half of the lap. He just needs to hold it together in the twistier parts of the circuit.
Cena's coming for Jacko again. Cena's now back ahead of Jacko for 4th place, so he's got 8 seconds worth of penalties.
So Jacko then at one stage was in the net lead of the race. That is no longer the case, but Jacko launches it down the inside of Cena. Cena giving him the room, to be fair, and Cena gets a much better exit, so Cena will keep that place ahead of Jacko unless he decides to launch it down the inside of turn 6. But thought he was, but decides against it, thankfully.
He's so wide, Mike Newman, through turn 5 every time, and it just allows Dom so much time to close in. That's the 2nd lap in a row he's done that, and they're getting it loose, but Dom gets even worse for him on the curve, but Mike Newman gets a penalty. I have to say, I don't know how Mike got that penalty, because I was watching Dom try and recover the car, but if it stays like this, it looks like it's going to be the win for Dom.
But there's an AlphaTauri right behind this pair, as Mike Noon gets a big kick of oversteer heading out of the first corner. Now, will Mike fight this? There's only less than 2 laps of the race left to go. Dom has the inside line. Will he have the position on the exit of the corner? Indeed he will, and the AlphaTauri of Cena has hit, or Parsa I should say, has hit the Williams. So I don't know if that'll be damage for the AlphaTauri. Doesn't look like any damage.
Just got away with it. Just got away with it. Now Will Parsa send one on Mike Noon. He sort of needs to if he wants to fight Dom for the win, but he does not. He can't make it stick. And, well, it looks like right now then, considering Mike Noon will not be under a genuine threat from, say, Dom will not be under a genuine threat from Mike Noon here, Parsa's got to try and get past Mike Noon. I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
I think he does have damage here. Look at the
I
amount
think
of time
he does have damage as well.
He has one of those damage things that you can't actually see, and sometimes they don't even tell you that it's damage as Schumacher picks up a penalty. But Cena may be the one to get ahead of Parsa. I mean, it won't actually matter because he has 11 seconds of penalties. But Parsa may be better off just letting Cena go here, because Cena just needs to get as far up the road as he possibly can. Jacko will jump up quite a few places come the end of this race, because while Parsa only had a 3-second penalty, it's just let Jacko come right back at them, and we have a lot of cars battling with each other just behind here. We have Wheelnut and Jacko and Blair Grills getting involved as well. We're 3 wide heading into turn 3. Wheelnut goes a bit deep, but he should have better traction on those soft tyres, but he will not have the DRS that Jacko will have. So will Jacko decide to launch it up the inside? Wheelnut left the gap there, and Jacko will indeed go up the inside. Will Blair Grills follow suit? He tried to. They made contact, but in the end, it's actually Chris Johnson,
the outside of Blair Grills,
who's appeared from absolutely nowhere on his soft tyres. Will he be able to brave around the outside of turn 7? Indeed he will not. But out in front then, from pole position, it is Dom Smith who was going to win. He's going to do what he couldn't do last time, and Dom Smith wins at the Red Bull Ring. Fantastic race from the Alpine driver. Mike Noon, a fantastic 2nd place. Let's just wait for these penalties to update. Jacko then is the driver who gets the podium.
Oh, nearly got seconds.
Almost P2. Parsa and Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson 5th. Somehow, out of absolutely nowhere. Blair Grills is 6th, with Mr. John coming from the back of the grid to finish in 7th. Wheelnut at the end of all of that only 8th. Cena only 9th. Jack, despite the drive-through penalty, is in 10th, with M. Shep 11th. Mick Schumacher is 12th. Kaya was 12th. Well, actually, was he 12th or was he 13th?
I was 13th.
13th after all that. Don't know what happened to him at the end of the race there, going to be honest. Mr. John picking up the driver of the day again, but well,
that was a crazy race.
Oh,
wasn't it?
for the love of God. I miss when he didn't win now.
Dom's 31st win in GP2, 2 behind the guy who finished in 2nd place, Mike Noon.
So who knows? He could very well reclaim that record come the end of the season, or maybe even come next week. Who knows?
Will that 3rd place for Jacko remain, I wonder, because of that safety car moment? Although Parsa did get straight back past. In fact, actually, technically, I think Parsa overtook Jacko literally just meters before the start-finish line. So that would actually be deemed as then still a penalty for Parsa as well. You know, Chris Johnson might end up on the podium at this rate.
Well, that's the thing. 2 wrongs don't make a right, as they say.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one gets worked out. But certainly, the top 2 are official.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, it was a brilliant race from the top two. Then the two, of course, who have the most wins in the series, with Mike, as you said, just 2 ahead of Dom. So I think Dom then will.
I think it'd be Jacko, won't it? Because
Jacko,
first
yeah.
and third place. But will if that third remains, obviously it may be a little bit different. But it's going to be very, very close. And Dom will be so annoyed only that he disconnected in Imola, because then he certainly would have a championship lead at the end of the night.
Yeah, or at least potentially anyway, because it is potential that it is possible that that Dom may have only been 1 place higher, because he still finished 6th and he was only kind of running in P4, P5 anyway, but did have slightly fresher tyres, and you never know what could have happened come the end of that race. Of course, Wheelnut did have that incident with Jacko, but or maybe not with Jacko. I mean, Wheelnut said it was his own fault, so Jacko was the official winner of Imola. But yeah, two very exciting races that kept us entertained from start to finish, and hopefully, as it usually does, we will see more of that for the rest of the season to come. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Once again, at this moment in time, you can't pick a favourite. I know you said earlier on you can't really pick a favourite until the first few weeks have finished, but honestly, I don't even think you can pick a favourite until we've done about 16 races.
Yeah,
it's been like that for the past few seasons, which is fantastic to see. But anyway, let's wrap it up there. 2 fantastic races tonight, and hopefully more of the same next week. We will see you then for 2
Brazil
more.
and Canada.
Brazil and Canada. There we go. So I got there in the end around half 7.
You were just testing me. Yeah, you knew,
oh, of course.
obviously.
Yes, I knew. Yes. I just wanted to see if. But anyway. So join us next week then at Wednesday at around half 7, and on the TGP series YouTube channel, of course. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you then. Good night.